So I signed up for Pax Dei months ago, and I ended up with an Alpha 2 queue with some of my friends, and we've been playing and having an alright time, so I wanted to make a review about this game. So I think a good way of going about this is having a compliment sandwich. On the top, game looks pretty great and actually has like a really cool survival crafter atmosphere. I really like what they're going for. The characters are cool, the workstations, everything. Like, this is a nice looking game. So I'm excited about that. Visually and thematically, the game is well designed and looks pretty cool. And real quick, because you're a gamer, I know you're going to love this. G Fuel is running a buy one, get one 50% off sale. Tons of great flavors. So now's the time to stock up on caffeine for whatever grind you're doing in life, work, school, gaming. Normally, it's use code REALIST5 for 20% off your order, but with this, can't stack it. You already have a sick enough code with the BOGO50. Also, there's another promotion going on. Free 3-pack of Gummy Fish, Bahama Mama, or Tetramino, depending on how much you buy. So go and check out my link down below. Back to the review. But the biggest problem with the game is that the crafting system is the worst crafting system I've experienced in any game, let alone an MMO, and it can only be described as malicious. So a lot of this video is going to be ranting about the crafting system, but also preempting the complaints people are going to have with this video. I don't care that the game is in alpha. This is unacceptable for an alpha game, and if this is like one of the core design ideas about the game, it needs to change or the game will fail. And then players getting mad at me for like pointing this out kind of shows like, okay, the game deserves to fail if that's the audience, and we're going to get into it. So how does crafting work? There's an interesting system to where if you're under the recommended level for a craft, you can still attempt to make something. It just has a high chance of failing. So it's like hard, trivial if you have it, and then when you get over it, it's completely mastered. And the weird thing is, like, once you have something at that level, like if you're level 4 out of 4 and it's trivial, you gain no experience. So the only way to gain experience is by making things above your level and failing. Okay, I kind of said that wrong because the system is so stupid. To clarify, you gain no experience when you fail a craft. So what I mean is the only way to gain experience is to be put into a failure scenario. And then you have a small chance to succeed in that failure scenario, and that's the only way you gain experience. Fun. Also, the way the resources break down is just crazy. So it takes 30 flax fiber to make 10 linen string, but then I need 30 linen string to make 10 rough linen string. So that's 90 to 10, and I have a chance of failure. So we're just going to hit the craft button. And the thing is, even though it's already mastered, I still have to sit here through all of the crafting attempts, and it only fails like once it goes, or not fails, it only completes once it meets the red bar. And like that's what this line right here is for. Like if you make it past this, you succeed. So we make it past this, and it's not a success. We got to wait the extra ticks for it to complete, or for the red bar to come in, even though it's mastered. So that's kind of weird. And then we're just chilling. Now, getting this flax was also kind of a weird thing on its own, but it did remind me of the good old days in RuneScape, back in the Catherby flax fields. Like, I know grind. I've played dozens of MMOs and crafting games over tens of thousands of hours while also sinking over 10,000 hours into grinding Pokemon. I'm fine with grinding. I love numbers go up. I play Realm of the Mad God, which is one of the most time disrespectful games out there. And I find everything about the system in Pax Dei to be unacceptable. Now with our group, we're in a swamp. We're Bayou boys, we live it, we embrace it. But the thing is, there's like no resources out in the bayou. So if I want to get flax, I gotta take a couple minute journey out here to get the flax, walk it back, go and craft all that stuff, and then just have a chance to fail. Because like, okay, I can't get any experience. There's nothing more for me to do with the coarse linen, so I need to craft the rough linen. Let's see what happens when you're 5 levels under. Oh, looks like, well, we're at war, and we failed. And we get some of the resources back, but not all of the crafts give you resources back. So we finally got a success. Still gotta wait and see what happens. Only get 144 experience. So if you do something that's like 1 level above, you get 100 experience. And then if you do something that's a couple levels above, you get like 112, 140, 144 experience. But still takes like dozens of crafts to get a level. So we're just kind of at the mercy of the game. Nothing we can do about it, and you'll see why later, because like the level breakpoints are also awful. And we just have to pray, and then we still fail. And, it takes a couple minutes to go out to the field, get all that flax, break it down, come back, just for 20. Oh, we still got a couple more crafts. Alright, so that full inventory of flax that we then processed twice gave us 3 successes and like 400 experience. Where does that put us on our skills? So we have tailoring down here. I was a little into level 5, so we got like a 1/5 of a level, and we're level 5 out of 10 for all of that work. Now, what do we do with this? Well, we head on over to the loom, where we have the rough linen cloth processing, and we don't even have enough because we needed 40, so we failed too many times to make this. Same thing on the coarse linen, so we could have taken this linen, not fail it, make it into cloth, but then 20 minutes, 20 real life minutes to process that into 8 of the linen cloth, 30 minutes for the rough linen cloth, so you need to make multiple looms. And that's also like another thing about where this game just starts getting more and more crazy and more annoying. So my failed stuff actually appears on the ground, which means we got another shot. Because, yeah, like sometimes you get some of the stuff back. So actually, we can maybe get to 40. Maybe get a little bit more experience for all of our work. All right. Like, the dopamine is not getting fucked over by the game. And that's not a good gameplay loop or a good, like, MMO kind of like dopamine experience. All right, so just kind of playing through the game and showing you like there's no right way of doing it. This is the optimal way of playing the game. So obviously you need to build more looms, that way you can have more things processing in the 20 to 30 minute gate. But it's annoying to build because we have all of this like wood garbage, the planks, the pegs, the stock. We also need leather, and we need to use 40 of that coarse linen string as well just to make another loom. So it's like, it's so much work and so much annoying stuff. So let's see how we make all of those wood pieces. Well, we go to the wood stump. Like, there's so many crafting stations. And I'm kind of cool with that because you have all of these like unique little ways to like build all the pieces. But some things just have way too many pieces. Like, how did the devs play this and test this and think it was okay? So we have blue long, blue short, beams, pegs, planks, regular beams, regular planks, other ones, and then higher tier stuff, which like it's impossible because it's level 23 and we're level 7. So that's already like way too annoying and way too weird. And all of this stuff, if I'm not high enough level, I can just fail, and it just takes like arbitrary amounts of wood. Also, another problem is that you need multiple amounts. So let's go and pull up the crafting menu, and this is like a cool crafting menu. You equip the hammer, you have like different things you can break down and build. I like that. There's items called props. So what you do is you craft the chest in a workbench, and then you pull it from your inventory as a prop, and then you can just place down the chest. That, I think, is pretty neat, and it's been fun to do. But then with this, like, okay, so the wooden planks we need 12 of. The max stack is only 10. Wooden pegs, I think the stack is 20. So we need like a 1.2 stacks for the planks. I think the rough shorts, or the rough wood stock is only 5. So we need like multiple stacks and halves for an item craft, and then all of the other stuff. So that's like another issue, is that these stack sizes just don't make any sense in the game, and I'll show a couple more of those. So like we have to do all this tedious little wood stuff instead of like, hey, why not just say 40? Why not just let me have 40 logs, and then I can make the loom, and I don't have to do like all this extra processing stuff, because if I want to be efficient, I need to have like 6 looms running, or it's impossible for me to gain any levels in this game. So that's kind of annoying. Also, I think we might have some other stuff processing here. So I also have hides processing because I'm the tailor and leather worker in our group. But look at that. Wait, we craft 8 at a time, but it breaks into 2 stacks. And then those stacks are going to be eating up precious inventory space in my chests. Like that's also just like all these little things. Like, oh yeah, the game just hates you and it's miserable. And oh, look at that. We built a chest, which is also a weird crafting recipe. That I need like planks and pegs and all these extra like wood things I need to craft. I just can't have 20 logs in my inventory and then make a chest. No, that's too free for the game to allow. And then I do all this, and now the inventory is full, and it just feels like garbage and crap out here. So every little bit and piece is more annoying than it needs to be to just not get experience. Like if I'm bonding animal hides to then tan for 20 minutes to then come back and then make the string to then make the loom. Like it's all that's annoying. this, like, and then we go, like, look at this. Leatherworking 3, Leatherworking 5. So there's no stopgap for Leatherworking 4 to train my level. The only thing I can do is fail 20-minute craft rawhides and leather bands into the bracers until I hit level 5. And I'm only level 3. And I've already made dozens of, like, bracers and shoes. And then you need metalworking. And you thought, like, oh, 20, 30 minutes real time? Pfft, whatever. Like, it's an MMO. You can't beat the game in a day. Suck it up. No, okay, let's go a little deeper. So we got charcoal killed. Takes 20 minutes to turn 40 wood into 20 coal. Also, you have to make each of these mounds, which also require building resources and all of that fun stuff. So you just have to, like, make a ton of that stuff. And then you go over here to make the actual metal. So iron ingot, 80 charcoal. So you need to have 4 of those running permanently for 20 minutes each to then get 1 craft for the iron ingot. And it takes an hour for the iron ingot with 20 iron ore to make 20 iron, or 40 iron ore to make 20 iron ingots. So it takes 160 wood to then, and like an hour and 20 minutes, and then more time depending on how many, like, stations you have, just to get 20 iron ingots that you immediately burn through, because all of this stuff gets kind of crazy. So here we have our iron buckles, iron wire, and iron sheets. So no, we actually got to go to the anvil, where it takes 2 of our ingots that took over an hour to make to then just get a couple of sheets. Actually, no, 1 sheet, 5 wire, and then, like, all of this other stuff, ingots and sheets and anvils. The anvil, good luck, because, like, look at that, level 6. So we have to spend hours to fail all of this to get a couple of the resources. And then, once you hit it, you still have to, like, keep on going. And then you have, like, a level 6 here for the iron anvil. You fail that a couple times, and, like, oh, look at that, 4 real-life hours to get level 6 in a game and make, like, no progress. And that's before we've even forged anything, where we have, like, all of these small little components, like the blades and the pommels and the studs and more nails and bars and stuff that also have chances of failing and take a while to make. And I just want to do leatherworking, but for some reason I need iron buckles. So without doing all that blacksmith gating, I don't even get leatherworking experience. So, like, that needs to change, where it's like, yo, you got to be able to get trivial amounts of experience, because, like, you need all this stuff. So I need to still make, 1,000 cloth pins, 1,000 sewing needles, where I get 5 per bone, just to try to roll from experience in tailoring right here. But I just kind of showed you, like, wait a second, it takes 20 minutes to weave 8 cloth, which only gives us 2 rolls at making a helmet, to then get 1/20th of a level. I don't care how blasphemous it sounds. If your progression system is worse than RuneScape's, you have done something completely wrong. I already kind of talked about it with the flax fields, because I ran flax and made bowstrings that I mostly sold, but also I used some for fletching for I don't even remember how many dozens of hours of my life, and that was somehow more enjoyable than anything that I've done in Pax Dei. And it also, because it makes sense, 1 flax, 1 bowstring, 1 log, into an unstrung thing, and then you string it, and then you're getting crafting experience, you're getting woodcutting experience, you're getting fletching experience. And you know what? I don't care if it takes me 3 days of fletching thousands of willow short bows or maple short bows to get the 10 levels to go to the next tier, or whatever it was back in 2007. That's why I pulled up a smithing calculator, because you could feel progression. You could make your little increases, and it was cool. I didn't care about running back and forth to the mines 100 times to then make however many bronze bars it takes to go from level 7 to level 15, so I can then upgrade into iron. It was so much more satisfying than all of this garbage in Pax Dei, and it also wasn't like, oh, I have to fail smelting iron bars for 10 hours to get to level 16. And also, the breakpoints were practically orgasmic levels of dopamine, because we have the steel plate body. You hit that 5 steel bars and you're doing, like, huge smithing crafts, and you can also make some money from it. Oh, that was it back in the day. And when I say, like, oh, I feel like your system is worse than RuneScape's, you need to reconsider, I'm talking, like, old RuneScape, before we got, like, RuneScape 3 EasyScape, and how solved old school RuneScape is. Like, 2006 RuneScape is probably the limit on how much grinding should be needed to complete whatever system, and that MMO held up just fine. So yeah, you have, like, all of this really good stuff. So let's say I want to go from level 48, my target level is 60. Isn't adamant even, like, level 70? So I need to do, like, crazy kind of stuff. That's still an outrageous amount of experience. Yeah, adamant is level 70, and mithril kind of sucks for training because it takes 4 coal and 1 mithril instead of just like iron and coal, and it's like a lot easier to get. I still have to make 3,500 steel plate bodies for that progression, and that was just a much more engaging grind than whatever's going on with Pax Dei because I didn't get locked out of experience for no reason. So the reason why I'm complaining is because I went into the Pax Dei Discord and I was like, yo, this is actually like unacceptable grind. And a lot of the people there were like, oh, you're just a baby. Everyone just wants it easy and for free nowadays, and they just want to beat a game instantly. It's like, no. That gave me one of those, do you even know who I am moments? Because I'm the only influencer in Pokemon that's doing everything legit. And my argument is everyone wants to skip all the work because they're entitled brats. But like, this is a completely different level where it doesn't even make any sense, and it's a purely masochistic system. Like, the most hardcore deranged players are the ones defending this, and when they're like kind of bullying others for complaining about one of the worst progression systems I've ever experienced in any game ever, and my friends also agree. We're just like, every time we try to make it a little further in this game, it just gets more and more insane. And that even goes to like the building. It takes 20 stone. It takes a full stack of stone to make one little square. So if you want to like make a foundation, that's a flex. Like all this stone right here, that's hundreds of stone. That's a flex. And it's also really stupid. Like, oh, you see that rock? You see this rock over here? You're thinking like, hey, I can just mine this and get stone. No, there's no stone over here. All the stone is over here, and it's in slow spawning nodes. And it's like little piles of rocks. And you don't even get that many, and everyone else is competing for it. So like, to get to stone to do this is actually several hours of grinding for a foundation. And then everything else is designed to steal your resources and your time. 40 charcoal. Well, now we can't make iron because our charcoal production is going into bricks. 40 clay. We also need that for the shingles and stuff. And it's absolutely atrocious. 30 minutes to cook a stack. Oh yeah, it also takes 30 minutes to cook. You don't just craft that in one quick little craft. That's got to work for 30 minutes. So 50 minutes to go from 2 charcoal like producers or 2 charcoal mounds to make bricks. It isn't 100 charcoal, but as you can see, the group is upset here. And some amount of clay, which is insignificant as it is clay. To make one wall out of brick, you need strong wood beams. So 56 heartwood and no failures. By the way, heartwood is like some kind of special tier of wood that you need a high wood cutting to get, and you get it rarely sometimes. That goes into more of this stuff. So you need the strong wood, no failures on a rare wood, arbitrarily for whatever reason. After you've already spent like all of this other time in the kiln, what else does it take? 20 bricks, so that entire stack that just took 50 minutes to make. 20 wood pegs. The kicker is the charcoal and bricks, because it takes the entire stack of bricks for one wall. And the roof is even worse. So I haven't even unlocked the roof because I haven't put a brick into my inventory, but the roof is 25 shingles. That has to be malicious because you only get 20. So it actually is 2 crafts of shingles and 20 bricks for the roof, which means you need multiple of these it's also just like such an insane scale. Like, do you actually need to have 20 of these permanently running? And that means these are consuming 40 wood every 20 minutes to then funnel it down to where like you have enough to get just basic smelting and other things. Also, you need charcoal for distilling. You need charcoal for everything else. Like, oh man, I just want to make an extract. 25 charcoal. Over 1 stack worth of charcoal production. The game hates you. Yeah, so let's look at our skills. We're like a third in tailoring. So let's see what I've been up to. We got all of our coarse linen out here. We can't do anything with this yet, so actually that gets even worse because we have coarse wool cloth. And then we're gonna go over here. I need to get all these like bones and needles and extra thread. We only have 20 string because we had to use all of our string already. Can pull out all of our other stuff. So like, yeah, all this resource management with all these horrible feeling inventory managements. And then we go in here. All right, so one thing that doesn't make sense. Remember how to get this yarn you need to be level 14? That's level 14 for yarn to fail like 80%, 90% of the time to make a level 8 thing to get experience for level 8. And then you hit level 8 There's no reason to ever craft this again. These are also just trash stats for the amount of resources that go into it. And then you have no other way of like getting higher level experience except failing the rough wool yarn that you will barely need again. You can try some pants, but like the best thing to do is like one level very easy. It's gonna be better than these easy fails. And I can craft 5. Now, fortunately, like we can actually craft 10 because of all this linen cloth that took hours to make. It's like we can go for 5 right here, and let's see how much that moves our experience bar. All right, level 5 out of 6. We got 4 out of the 5 crafted. That's 400 experience. That gave us, you know, like maybe 20%, less than like 15% of the levels, like 1/7. So we need to make 30 of those hats to get to level 6. For the hats to not be worth any experience, to then make it to like this dress. Actually, dress is level 6. So level 7 for this. Actually, the pants. Maybe we should have made the pants because that takes 4 and this only takes 2. And depending on the failure rate, like it's just better. Even if we like fail twice as many, we actually still get more experience. But then we have to make like 50 pants to get from level 7 to level 8 to then fail all of our rough wool yarn. And if we make 50 pants, well, that's going to be like 100 linen, which then that's 12 20-minute crafting sessions. So I mean, like, and that's before I even go out and get all the flax that we spun earlier in the video to even make the coarse linen string that gives us no experience for all of this. So it's 30 to 10 to 40. So it's 120 flax to get 8 linen. The numbers just hurt my brain. And then like that experience does nothing. And then they want you to get to level 19 before you can get to the next tier. And again, like all of this stuff is garbage stats. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, where's the end game? And then the leather, it's the same thing, but with iron involved, which takes an hour to smelt. And the experience gain is also just like weird and wacky and doesn't even make sense. And no matter how much stuff I craft, I'm still like level 3, barely level 4. Where are we at? Leatherworking. Yeah, like, what? The experience is so stupid. So you don't even get experience for an attempt, and then it eats up most of your resources. And I could just like keep ranting about this forever. Like, what I learned from RuneScape is you don't need a reward every single level. Like, the progression is the thing. Also, like, a good way of doing it is giving you a better chance of getting, like, a bonus. Like, what's the point of making 1,000,000 shoes? Like, I can't do anything with this. You can't break this down to get half of your linen back or anything like that. You can't sell it because every other person on the server is making 50 helmets just so that they can make 50 dresses, just so they can make 50 pants, just so they can make 0 progress in this game. So, like, all this stuff is completely worthless. And that's, like, another weird thing people in Discord said, like, oh, just sell it or trade it with the other guilds. But if there's a larger guild, they're the ones trying to pawn it off on me as the bigger fool, but I can't. And, like, solo players, they're going to either experience this or they're not going to have any resources making it worth it. Like, there's no reason to do any of this. If you want to be successful in this game at all, you need 1 or 2 people in your gaming group just to chop down trees, and that's like their only thing. Their only job is chopping down trees and managing kilns permanently for like 8 hours a day. So you have to convert one of your friends into a human bot, or your guild is suffering and you get flamed by the Discord group for not playing properly or not like having a large enough group. And that's also what they need. So they're like maliciously getting people to just do all the grunt work while you funnel it into the crafters. And yeah, that's like a game flow for every MMO. But this, again, this is just like so awful and way too grindy and can only be described as malicious from the devs. And that's why it's indefensible. Like, how does any developer think this is okay at any point, especially for a 1-week test? Like, what are we testing in 1 week if it takes all of this, 4 people in our guild, to just like hard funnel and keep working just to be level 3 after 16 hours of playing? Okay, not level 3, level 5 to 6. And we're all very experienced in MMOs, so we're well above average when it comes to like establishing, setting up, building, grinding, funneling resources, and gathering and all that stuff. Like, we've figured this out more and better than most other players in this game, and we're still already struggling. It's like, okay, this ends in 5 days. Like, how do they expect anyone to test anything in the game? How did the devs not accelerate it for a test? And how did they think that this would ever be, like, acceptable in the full game? Because there's no reward. There's no satisfaction. There's no growth here. it's just miserable and makes no sense, where like you have to fail to gain experience, and then you're locked out of experience, and then it takes an outrageous amount of experience. Like, there's absolutely nothing to justify, and it's like the devs didn't even have enough time to like play their game. They just like wrote random numbers down and went, yeah, we don't want people ever playing or beating our game, and then they shipped it for alpha. But even though this game's already had like closed alpha and some other tests, like alpha test 2 and some other updates and stuff. And that also goes into every other issue where it's like, oh, the stack sizes just aren't big enough to do anything. You can't go out and get enough resources. If you made your base in bad location, you're screwed. If you made your base in good location, it's not any better. And somehow there's freaks in the community that claim to have played other MMOs saying that, oh, this is fine and comparable to Final Fantasy and Star Wars Online. Even though, like, and they even said EVE Online, but, like, EVE Online actually gives you, like, reward and dopamine and makes you feel like you're accomplishing and building towards something. Not with how gated this is. Oh yeah, and I got distracted because what I was saying is, like, with all these things being worthless, at least give it a chance to, like, have bonus stats. Like, it'd be pretty cool if one of these was, like, 3.2 blunt, because I at least like numbers go up. Give me the little bits of dopamine. The whole thing about RuneScape endgame, or any MMO endgame, is grinding raids and bosses and dungeons and crafting for 10 hours just to get a 2% efficiency increase. I'm down with that. So even if I felt like I was getting marginally stronger from all these wasted crafts, like, that would be something. But, like, no, this needs change. And, like, anyone defending this game, they're just wrong. And if they want this game to be like this, then the game deserves to die, with, like, the 50 people that are playing and trying to justify the worst crafting system just so they can, like, pretend they're good at games by having more life to waste than anyone else in history. Alright, so what's the only other good thing in the game? I will say the combat is pretty fun. Like, it's very rudimentary, and you're gonna watch this and just be like, wait, what? Maybe I'm already just, like, held hostage by how trash the crafting is to where the combat seems interesting. But, like, you have the abilities. So I did a shield bash. That's a fat stun. You spam that out, and then you're doing pretty good, and then you can get some resources, and that just funnels back into the leatherworking grind. So we killed 2 animals. We got 2 rough hide. We stitched that into 1 large hide. We need 8 large hide to turn into the leather. That also takes 20 minutes to process. So that's how that goes. And the reason why, like, the combat feels kind of fun is, like, there's actual dedicated roles. Those control things on the bottom right, you actually get, like, abilities and stuff with better armor. Your weapons have abilities as well. So, like, if I hit control click, do a big wallop, and then you get to smack something for good amounts of damage. We've got the shield bash. So, like, it actually, even though it's just like a spam and a mash, you gotta be a little strategic. You can't just like int into things. We went down to this cave, and it was a pretty cool like cave filled with wolves, and it was just the 3 of us, and we were just like, all right, time stun, time special, and then we were just kind of like moving forward in our phalanx. So even like an early state of the game, we had some kind of strategy going on. Now, the cave was actually trash as well. Like, okay, sure, it's alpha, but like we went through the cave for, you know, 30 minutes of just like hitting through these tough wolves and also like these boss wolves and stuff, and then it just kind of like looped back out and we didn't get any rewards. Like, no chests, no rewards, no extra loot drops along the way. There was just nothing in that cave. So like all of your work is just pissed on in this game, and it's not cool. Also, the food system's kind of neat. That's just like Valheim, where you get a lot of your buffs that way, and then, oh, it takes charcoal to get to brew the potions in like 20 different steps. And all the cooking is annoying because there's like a million different food recipes that don't go anywhere. Because like we have someone in our team that's cooking, and they're just like, I have no idea what's going on. I love cooking in every other MMO, but like none of this makes sense to actually like give you experience and give you all the resources and then make proper food. Oh yeah, and I saw this post on the Discord, so at least there's a couple of sane people in there. To get the regular, non-primitive smelter, you need 29 blacksmithing for craft. Assuming 6,000 iron ingots to get 21 blacksmithing, because if you have like an 8 level differential, you can do the very, very hard high failure crafting, but at least you can still like craft a level 29 thing, which presumably gives me a decent chance of success to get 29 blacksmithing smelter, 300 hours of constant iron ore smelting, 100 hours to keep all 3 smelters going the entire time. That's 4.1 days of 24/7 smelting. Also requires 12,000 impure iron in an MMO where, like, 12,000 iron in an MMO where there's less nodes and higher competition and slower respawn than anything like RuneScape. Where it's like, oh yeah, I remember back in the day, everyone just kind of like fighting over the iron deposits because you get like the little triangle of 3 and everyone wants to be in there. And there's also many more worlds. So yeah, the 3,500 steel plate bodies times 5. So that's going to be like 18,000 steel ingots. Like that's actually like crazy, the amount of processing in RuneScape depending on how your grinding is going. But like, yeah, this is 12,000 impure iron ore, 24,000 charcoal, which is 48,000 sapwood of multiple stations running 24/7 for days on end, and this alpha test is only 7 days. And that also depends, like, you also need all these people feeding it, because to get that 12,000 ore, when the ore is like a 20 per stack, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 160 times 3. Like, what are you talking about? How do you even like go out and get that much and bring it back in a reasonable amount of time? So yeah, it's like, it takes a full week just to get 21 blacksmithing, which isn't even 29 to get to the advanced smelter. And that's your entire clan, 24/7 on multiple stations for 1 skill. That's before you even get into like blacksmithing and making the tools and stuff. Holy crap, there's no way. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video, but man, like this is too tedious and too outrageous. And even then, like, I played New World. I went hard into New World. Like, you need to have some kind of progression. New World has level 250. It's like, yeah, you'll just grind from, like, level 50 to level 90, and that'll take a full day. And you don't get to the next tier of stuff, but at least you feel like you're making progress, and your resources are worth something, and they actually, like, craft into things or sell. Like, sure, this game will eventually get an economy, but again, no one wants these worthless pieces of crap that everyone's making thousands of for the levels. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how is an alpha, like, that has all this other good stuff working, just like have such terrible numbers or such terrible base design that people are defending? Games should be like, your game needs to be more cooked if you're going to be running a test or something to at least make people feel like there's hope here. But I don't know, I'm just going to play Ashes of Creation. I don't see any point spending any time even on like future updates and stuff unless I'm really just that bored. I don't think it's possible to be that bored. I don't know. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.